Welcome in. This is the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman. Joining me to break down the BMW Championship, everybody who has made it to the Tour Championship, and a fifth, count them five, victories for a specific player this year is Greg DuCharme. Hello, Gregors.
Rick, are we actually live or have we done this episode already?
We could have done this. We could have recorded this already. No one would know the difference.
More of the same. Although I guess now we've finally reached the tally of 5. That's your hint that this is in fact a live show.
No, what they don't. We've already recorded number 6. And that will play next week.
Next week. Oh my goodness. It is incredible. What a week. Rick, on Friday, you knew this was going to happen. It was a day later than expected. I don't know what else to say. It was sensational.
Scottie Scheffler goes 67-67 on the weekend. Oh, I don't have Mina here, so I'm messing up all these. There we go. 67-67 on the weekend. He started the final round 4 shots behind Robert MacIntyre, and Greg, that did not last very long because Robert MacIntyre bogeyed 3 of his first 5. Scottie Scheffler made 3 birdies in his first 7. And there were a few moments that this got closer towards the end, but Scottie flipped this script immediately. Immediately, he flipped this script.
You're absolutely right. It was immediate. And it's like you talked about on Friday. You know, he beats you by 1/10 of a shot here and 1/10 of a shot there. And MacIntyre just misses the fairway at 1, and Scottie hits it into the fairway on 1. MacIntyre misses the green. Scottie hits it close. 2-shot swing. Picks up another shot at the very next hole. But that being said, Rick, I didn't think this was Scottie's best performance. You know, he missed 5 putts inside of 8 feet today. Some of them were shocking. I mean, he was very good. He hit a lot of really high quality iron shots, hit a lot of great tee shots. Once he got the tee, he really didn't give Robert MacIntyre any kind of break. You know, he had 10 of 14 fairways, and he was second in approaching the green, but you know, could have won this tournament by 5, considering the way Robert MacIntyre played. But with these misses, we haven't seen him win this way yet this year. And it's like, okay, when you just put together over a period of time the kind of performances that he does every week, every once in a while you're going to get away with a couple of missed shorties, and that's what Scottie did today.
Yeah, you can just pull my string and I'll say the same stuff, right? He's the best in the world at guessing how it's going to come out of the rough. He never misses in a bad spot. When he does, he gets it up and down, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody knows
or chips it in.
Chips it in. The shot on 17. Let's just go there. Let's just go to the shot on 17. And this was maniacal because it is now a 1-shot lead. Robert MacIntyre has got the honor on 17, the very difficult par 3. Both of them missed the green. And Greg, do you want to set up this shot and describe what happened here? Because I think you do a better job at it than I would.
So Bobby Mack made birdie at 16. Scottie did not. So all of a sudden, it's a, like you said, Rick, a 1-shot lead. Robert MacIntyre hits it over the green and says, what a golf shot that was. Like, he flushed it. It just got past that ridge. Now, I can't believe they even have a whole location where this is on 17. They showed some drone views of this, and it looked like it's 3.5 feet below where Scottie Scheffler's ball ended up, which was just off the back left of the green. It is so low. It's so downhill. So Scottie ends up flipping this thing up into the air, lands it 3 paces onto the green, which is like 50 feet away from the hole. And it trickles. And it's like, oh, is that going to be it? It's starting to slow down. Then it catches another ridge. And then, oh, here it comes. Okay, he didn't leave that short. He played it perfectly. Oh, it's actually online. And then it pauses right in the center of the hole, just short, and disappears. And the look on Robert MacIntyre's face was, "Are you kidding me?"
I think there might have been a couple expletives in that thought as well. Okay, there's so much about this shot. Well done. Okay, I think I've said this before. I watch golf in mostly silence. I'm not yelling. I don't yell at the TV. They can't hear you, right? I don't watch sports yelling at the TV or anything like that. This got an audible like scream from me, to the point where Mina is yelling back from the other room, like, what happened? What is going on over there? And I'm like, he just chipped it in on 17. Like, that type of thing. The last time I can remember yelling at the screen is when at the second hole at Torrey Pines, like in 2021, when Tiger hit it and it went down into the cup and popped out.
That's the last time.
That's the last time. That's what it takes. It takes that or the chip in from Scottie. And there's so much about this. So the ball took like 11 seconds from club face to bottom of the cup. It just kept going and going and going. And I'm thinking, where's the flag? They haven't even panned enough to see where the cup. I'm like, where's the cup? It's not even getting close. And then with about 8 feet to go, Greg, he lifts the club, and he knows it's in. He knows it's in. This dude is so cold. He is ice cold. I love Scottie Scheffler. Have I ever declared my love for Scottie Scheffler before? Because I love him.
Well, I have declared it many times, so you know that, and this is why. Now, there's a narrative out there in the world of sports that Scottie Scheffler is a boring golfer. I think that's going away. I really do. I think people are starting to realize what he's accomplishing, and that you're watching, like, the boringness is good. I think Scottie's done a better job opening up in the media, and all of a sudden he's just gradually building this highlight reel, this career highlight reel of big time moments, like big time shots and big time moments. That is what Tiger Woods did. And the celebrations are just different, but I love them. I love it. And the crowd just erupts, and he's so stoic about it. It's so cool.
I think it does make it cool. I thought, and I still kind of think, that Scottie's a total dork, but when everyone else is celebrating and you're the statue, like, yeah, what else did you expect? I knew that was going in.
This is like you start to look like a gladiator or something, right? It's a totally different. This is what we do.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? It's brilliant. And just today I saw this. There's a commercial that's a Scottie Scheffler highlight reel. It's just Scottie Scheffler, and it's like, it was in my mind that, okay, there's this highlight reel building, and there are great celebrations, and there are great moments, and these big time shots and smirks and all these little looks that he gives in this commercial. They were perfect, and he just added another one to the list today.
So his fill-in caddy, Mike Cromie, has got to be like, first off, I just made probably 360 grand in 4 days. This is the greatest week of my life. I get to take home this pin and this pin flag. And it just, the difference between Mike, who's fist pumping it and going for the high fives, as he should be, and Scottie's just trying to put the wedge back into the bag. I just loved it.
Yeah, it was really cool on many levels. Cromie caddies for Chris Kirk, who's a phenomenal golfer. And Chris Kirk made, in official money this year, $2.9 million.
Oh, no.
I don't know what, there's a bonus pool. I don't know what their deal is, but there's a chance that he made more today. I also don't know what his deal was with Scottie. I don't really know how that works with fill-ins. I don't know if it's like an auto 10%. But there's a chance that he made more today than he made all year with a golfer that made the playoffs.
Yes.
In Chris Kirk, a golfer that lost a tournament in a playoff this year, a very good PGA Tour player in Chris Kirk. Just incredible.
It was, and the moment was not, like this tournament was not resolved. Bobby Mack just made birdie on 16. And yes, I think Scottie was probably in a better spot than MacIntyre was, but he was farther away. We had just seen Harry Hall chip in from where kind of close to where Robert MacIntyre was. So it felt like the momentum was turning towards Robert MacIntyre, and the way that this shot just sucked it out of just all the oxygen out of Caves Valley. Just it's over. Go home.
Yes, it ended it. I mean, It was a one-shot lead. If they both get them up and down, then you go to 18 with a one-shot difference, and all of a sudden Robert MacIntyre is like the Scottish Open when he hit that great shot. Rory ends up winning. Like Robert MacIntyre has hit phenomenal shots on the last hole before. He hit great shots into 18 all week. So a one-shot difference there is the tournament is not over because it's not an easy birdie hole. Scottie's probably going to play it conservatively with the one-shot lead. And do exactly what he did with a two-shot lead. But Robert MacIntyre will have a chance to make something happen. And Scottie took it away. And Robert MacIntyre looked at him like, it's over. It's over. He just stared at him. It was incredible to me.
It wasn't even disbelief because he could believe that he did it. It was just are
you kidding me?
Resignation. Just okay. I guess I'm done here.
Yeah. And I don't think he was happy about it.
The stats of this run are nuts. So now back-to-back 5-win seasons for Scottie, first time since Tiger did that. Justin Ray has got some great ones right now. So players with 12 or more PGA Tour wins, including 3 major championships across 2 seasons. Obviously, Scottie Scheffler, he just did that. Tiger 4 times. Okay, always a joke. Nicklaus did it twice, and Palmer did it twice. I mean, it's like your Mount Rushmore, dude. Like, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right up there with, I mean, you're not quite to Tiger's best 2-year season, 2-season span, but you're in the ballpark. It's also only Scottie's 5th and 6th season, looking at 24 and 25. Nicklaus did some pretty special things in his 12th and 13th season. And so a lot of these moments and these achievements with Scottie, I'm left to believe like, well, what does the future hold? And when he said it in the press conference before winning the Open, he talked about how it was like, what's the point? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
But then today he's asked on the green, he's interviewed on the green about his under par streak that he currently has going on, which, what is it, 14 or 17 rounds under par, something like that. And he said, well, it's because of the intensity that I bring to every shot. And I cannot think of a better combo. Like, I don't care, but every single shot that I play is the most important thing that I'm doing right now. Yeah. It's a high level of intensity on this moment, and it is zero care about what the trophy case looks like.
Yes. He cares immensely about the process. He does not care at all about the result, which is literally like, if I could just inject one that's like a worldview. That's like a worldview that he has. If I could just inject that one thing into a golfer, it would be exactly that. Just not caring at all about the outcome, but it is life or death about the process.
Look, you compare it to Rory McIlroy, right? Rory, who is now I can't believe I'm saying this, the second best golfer post Tiger. Mm-hmm. In 2023, he was the best golfer since Tiger.
Not anymore.
It's not anymore. I mean, anyway, you think about this comparison and what winning the Masters meant to Rory, and I just wonder how many wins that took away from him. How many majors did that take away from Rory McIlroy? The career Grand Slam that Scottie's a U.S. Open away from now, it will not affect him at all.
No,
it doesn't matter if he wins at Shinnecock or doesn't. It does not matter. You know, he might win a lot of PGA. He might never win the career Grand Slam. I don't know, but it's not going to get in the way of anything else. He's not going to redesign his schedule and his process. He's not going to redesign his shot shape to win a U.S. Open. No, you know, or anything else, which is a really scary thing for the rest of the professional golf world.
He's obviously gonna be the favorite to win the Tour Championship next week. We'll get to that later in the show. Let's talk about Robert MacIntyre. Had a historic first two rounds. There were a lot of different ways that you could slice this up. He had already gained, 14 strokes to the field after 36. That was basically the amount you needed to win this golf tournament over the last 10 years. He had rolled in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet worth of putts in the first 54 holes. He was on pace to do something really incredible with his approach play and his putting that has only been done, less than 10 times in the last 6 years. That did not end up coming to fruition because of that rocky start. The inability to hit fairways and to put those squares on the card allowed for Scottie to overtake him. But then, Greg, there was obviously enough grit. There was obviously enough, in the tank for him to right the ship a bit and keep this thing close until the 17th green.
Yes. Now, I don't believe, Rick, that he got scared of playing with Scottie Scheffler. I think that this was just a function of his swing was not in the place where it was the days before. He hit one fairway on the first 9 holes, just one. And you cannot play Caves Valley from the rough and keep up with Scottie Scheffler. I don't think it was like what we saw Tiger do to so many people where they just could not play because of him. Bobby Mack played well yesterday with Scottie. And now there could have been a pressure from Scottie's play. Scottie's pounding fairways. I need to hit a fairway. I can't. That could have been. But he ultimately just gave himself so few birdie opportunities. Even what was the one fairway hit, number 5? He's got 86 yards and dumps it in the bunker. And at that point, it's just like, you got to be kidding me. I'm finally in a fairway, and I can't even get it right out of that.
And I'm pretty sure that was. I think he hit iron to hit that fairway. I don't think he hit a fairway with his driver until like the 10th hole.
And then on the back 9, he hit 5 out of 7 fairways.
Yeah.
So he got it ironed out and stayed in the fight. It could have gotten really bad for him. And even with that start, Rick, I still think there was an opportunity at 13 was a 3-putt. That was kind of sloppy. 15, he had a really good look for birdie that he needed to make and didn't. 17, what can you do? But if he takes care of those two, he's actually leading going into 17. And that shot that Scottie hit ties. Scottie probably plays it different. He probably takes it more at that flag if he's one down and not one up. So, even despite the difficult start, there were still opportunities, and I appreciate him staying in the fight.
I agree. I also think that, yes. Was it Scottie pressure, or was it just pressure that was being applied to him because someone else was now in the lead or whatever? But I think like 80% of this was like he was going to come back down to earth at some point. I mean, he made like 400 feet of putts in the first 3 rounds. And
would you have thought that if it was like, I don't know, another player, not Scottie Scheffler in there? I don't want to name a name, but if it was, would you have felt like he's going to come back down to earth if it was Russell Henley 4 shots back of him?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. So maybe, I don't know. Now, the thing that I do think that MacIntyre is not afraid of Scottie. I think he likes this, right? I think he's shushing the crowd. We have seen him get hot. He loves to run hot. He's often cooking up situations for him to be upset and for him to get hot, right? Like,
yeah, like remember the drone?
Because I'm not an American, this drone is trying to sabotage me. It's like, what are you talking about?
I remember a clip of him saying, "I can hear it."
Yeah.
With his accent.
Yeah. So like, I don't think, I think he loves the moment being huge. Like, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I kind of felt the same way. And that's why I thought he was going to perform. I did not expect to see 73 on Saturday or Sunday out of Robert MacIntyre. I was very surprised that happened.
Well, what did we say on Friday night? We said he was at 14 under par. We said get 2 under on Saturday, 2 under on Sunday. You take the par 5s, and that will really box everybody out. Come to find out, he didn't even need all that. He needed 1 on Saturday and 1 on Sunday, would have gotten him to 16 under, and he would have won this golf tournament. So the blueprint was there. The execution was not.
Right. I mean, you're even par round today gets it done. Now you don't know because Scottie's in position to go a lot lower than he did. I don't think that he's trying to miss any short putts, but you just don't know how, when the scoreboard changes, what that does to Scottie as well. But 73 in the final round, it does not get it done the only one I can think of like that, the only winner I can think of who shot a score like that is like Rickie Fowler at the Waste Management when there was that huge weather storm. Yep. It just does not happen. Not even in U.S. Opens. You can't shoot that kind of score on Sunday and win.
Before I move to the rest of the field, because this was mostly the winner was coming out of this final group basically all weekend long. So before I move on, Caves Valley. So this is post renovation, Greg. I want to get your thoughts. Played as a par 70 this year, a par 72 in 2021. To put this into perspective, and does this mean anything or not? So Cantlay and Bryson got into a playoff at 27 under par. That was 261 strokes. Scottie Scheffler won this golf tournament 265 strokes. So get par out of the picture. Caves Valley played a shot more difficult a day in 2025 than it did in 2021.
I think it was a really appropriate level of difficulty. This winning score of 15 under, I think that if it's not for that rainstorm on Thursday, this scoring would have been a lot closer to, you might have seen like 8 under kind of number win. I really think that made a huge difference. It lasted. Friday was much more receptive than Thursday morning. Saturday kind of got back on track to Thursday, although still a little more receptive. The golf course is a much better test for sure. And to see that, I'm with you. I don't necessarily care about the par. That's like such an arbitrary thing, a social construct, as you say.
Literally made up. Literally the most made up thing in golf.
Yes. But very necessary.
Sure. Agreed.
If you took it away, watching golf would be a lot worse.
Watching golf on television would be literally impossible because you'd be like, okay, Well, Scottie's at 27 strokes and Cam Young's at 32 strokes, and they've played 5 holes and 6 holes. Yeah, it would be impossible.
Right. You would be doing the math to get to like a relative to par number. So it makes a whole lot of sense. But you could tell from watching it, there was a much greater penalty for missing fairways. It was much harder to get the ball close to the hole, approaching the greens. But if you played really well, you could handle every hole was manageable. I thought that was cool. That's why you see this kind of separation. Like Michael Kim's in 10th place. He's 9 back.
How about the fact that Scottie Scheffler was 15 under and Andrew Novak in a 48-person field, because Daniel Berger withdrew, was 20 over. That is 35 shots. I love that. Give me the wide range of scores.
And Brian Campbell was 18 over. Thomas Dietrich was 17 over. Johnny Vegas was 15 over. Ryan Gerard was 14 over. Like it wasn't just Andrew Novak. You know, Johnny Vegas, 45th place, 30 shots behind. 7
guys failed to break par in any round. And then quick math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish at least guys that broke par every round. And some that were par or better every round. So yeah, great. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, it's got it's kind of like what you see at Augusta National.
Yeah.
Right. The best golf courses provide that. That being said, it doesn't always lead to the best finishes. Like this is a recipe for a runaway victory. Mm-hmm. And if it had been Scottie who started like Bobby Mack, I think we would have seen a 8-shot win out of Scottie Scheffler or something like that. That's what the golf course offers. The dominant player, like if they come back here in 25 years and it's set up the same way relative to the way the game is played in 25 years, you'll see a huge scoring gap, which I think is it separates who the best players are very nicely.
Let me get you a couple notables here. I'll start with Maverick McNeely, who finished his week with a 66. So he goes 64, 69, 66 over his final 3 rounds. He had 4 birdies spread out in a very symmetrical fashion. 1 on 2, 1 on 7, 1 on 11, 1 on 16. I love it when a scorecard looks like that. And McNeely, that solo third, moves him up to 10th in the FedEx Cup standings. Is it enough, Craig? Have we seen enough for Maverick McNeely to potentially be on this Ryder Cup team?
Well, he did pass Keegan in the points list.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is a nightmare scenario.
Disaster scenario.
For a captain.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't win. But he beat you. He played with you. If you're Keegan Bradley. The guys that you want on the team didn't do what Maverick McNeely did. Mm-hmm. They didn't do what. Yeah, it's such an odd mix. Like Sam Burns steps up. He's just way down on the points list. It's a really tough scenario. I literally don't know what I would do. I think like my lean right now is Matt. You went and came in 3rd place. You balled out like that at Caves Valley. You should get on the team. You're 10th in the point. You're 10th in the points now. You should get on the team. There's only 12 spots. It's brutal.
The hottest players, or some of the hottest players, like Cam Young, Sam Burns, Maverick McNeely, did not auto qualify. Some of your maybe must-have guys, like Patrick Cantlay, are worse than those guys. You're involved if you're Keegan Bradley. Good luck, man.
Yeah.
Just win, and it doesn't matter. But there's going to be a lot of conversation until we get to September.
Well, the phone calls get really tough. Like,
hey, I know you finished great, Mav, and you're ahead of me in the standings, but I'm going to pick myself.
Yeah.
tough call.
Invite the Netflix cameras in.
Yeah.
You know, I recommend that for this call. Not good. It's not a good situation. I mean, like you said, Sam Burns is still 16th in the standings. He just finished tied 4th. McNeely beat him. Cantlay is still 15th in the standings, right? Not getting any easier. Cam Young is still 14th in the standings. Novak dropped 1 spot. Harman moved up to 12th and passed him. And Keegan's in 11th. Or does he just go 1 through 12?
Oh, I hope not. That's so corny. I actually think at this point, I don't know. I actually think if I were him, I would not pick myself. But if he has already in his own brain come to terms with picking himself, can you go back on that? Which is hard to do. But I don't think it's not like if he doesn't pick himself, he's not a huge part of this team. He can be a huge part of this team as the captain. It's not like he doesn't get to go like Rome, right? He's going to be there and he's going to set the lineup so he can be the greatest captain in the world. If I was in his shoes right now, I'm not picking myself.
It's amazing how just a couple weeks ago, you know, he's at that point now where that would be an acceptable option, in my opinion. Because up until this week, where he still played he played great. He shot 3 under today. He played great, at least today. He finished tied 17th. That should not be you're out now kind of tournament.
Right. It's like a 2-year long thing, and the points start, a year out. It shouldn't be what did you do last week? But it is.
Yeah. So up until that being said, up until this week, I was like, well, it's a mistake to not pick Keegan Bradley because Keegan Bradley's resume belongs on this team. It's one of the 12 best resumes. If the captain doesn't take the 12 best guys, it's a bad job. Like it was a bad job not taking Keegan in Rome. So it would be bad captaining to not take him. I don't know if I'm in that place anymore. Is it bad captaining to leave Maverick McNeely off the team?
I kind of think it is. I also, and I am, and for the record, I am not some Patrick Cantlay supporter, but doesn't he have to be on this team?
I don't know how you get around it. I wish he was not 15th in the standings.
In the format that you guys have gotten crushed at for 30 years, he and Xander Schauffele are the only bright spot in the last 6 team events. He has to be on the team.
I know, but Xander is also way off his game this year.
He's on the team and he's qualified.
Was that partnership so good because both of those guys were automatic qualifiers before? I don't know. I'm just throwing this out because look, this is the most challenging captain pick scenario that I can remember. I had 12 guys. I knew I was like, these are your 12 before this week. Now I went from having 10 guys locked to 9 guys locked. Brutal
indeed. Let me get you an update on everything else that has gone on, or at least a couple of more items before I get us to the grid and look ahead to next week. How about Rickie Fowler? Obviously somebody that we were keeping a close eye on all week long, all Sunday long, if you remember, Greg, and I'm sure you do, but I'll refresh everybody else. Rickie played his way in to the BMW Championship by having a good week in Memphis. He needed a good week to get himself into the Tour Championship. Rickie Fowler finished T7. It wasn't good enough. A bogey on 12, a birdie on 13, and then disaster with a bogey on 14 and a double on 15. Drops Rickie Fowler outside the top 30. He ends up finishing 32nd, and his season is over.
Great run for Rickie Fowler. I hate the way this ended because it was such a good run and he played so well. And to see it go down this way is just so disappointing. He made a really uncommitted bad swing at a bad time on 14.
Yep.
That was a bad shot. And he knows that. He said that. He said as much. And then you get to 15 and you hit a shot that probably looked great in the air that airmails the green. I was audible when this shot landed over the green. I went, oh. And you just could see the lie was terrible. I knew he was going to make double when it airmailed the green, and they showed that lie. It was brutal. So, yeah, it looks like a choke. But I think ultimately it was really just one bad swing that cost him. And this is how tight it is. Like we said on Tuesday, he needs 6th or better.
Yeah.
And he finishes tied 7th, that it's not enough. It's look, these are fine margins. Only so many guys can move on. In fact, it's exactly 30, and tied 7th for Rickie didn't get it done.
Speaking of tied 7th, Ludvig Aberg is also in a tie for 7th. I'm gonna click Scott Lewis's comment so that it's in the ether of the show so that I can go find this. So Scott says, when Ludvig hit his opening tee shot, the Golf Channel announcer said, quote, "There's a huge difference between first cut and second cut," which I could not agree with more. So Scott, thank you. Or if anybody can go grab me that audio, that'd be great. If not, I'm clicking it so that I can remember to go grab that. So now it's out in the podosphere, and I'll see if I can go grab it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool comment. It's very funny. It's very funny how these things come up. I guess that's why you come up with these kind of names.
That's right. Just in case you can get a good soundbite or two. Very good 54 holes for Ludvig, 68, 64, 68, and that pesky 73, exactly what Robert MacIntyre shot for Ludvig on Sunday. The much of that, Greg, coming on 17 and 18. He finished bogey and double, but he also had 3 other squares on the scorecard. Ludvig, to me, even seeing what I saw today, is one of the few dangerous dark horses that could be your FedEx Cup champion come this time next year, even though he had what he would probably describe as like a subpar year.
Yes. I think that his game, he has not been close to leaderboards. So we haven't seen a whole lot of them since the Genesis. And you kind of wonder where he went. But it was just a matter of him putting it all together. I think this week he got really close to that. Unfortunately, over the weekend, his iron play, which has been great, kind of let him down. Kind of disappointing. It was disappointing. He hit a lot of great tee shots into the fairway. This was not the way Rory McIlroy struggled around Caves Valley, just playing out of the rough and all those difficult lies all week. Ludvig played a lot of golf from the fairway and missed a lot of greens from the fairway. And that was a little disappointing. And I think it led to a number of bogeys. I know on 18, the error was hitting it in the creek off the tee. But that's just a small sample of what went wrong for Ludvig over the weekend.
The 30 are set. We've got them. Last few in, Sung Jae Im, Chris Gotterup, Akshay Bhatia. First 3 out, Michael Kim, Rickie Fowler, Taylor Pendrith. That shuffled quite a bit over the course of the last hour or so. Gotterup, when he posted, did not control his own fate. He gets in. Michael Kim gets bumped by a very late, I think it might have been on 18, Victor Hovland birdie putt that breaks a tie and drops Michael from those much needed points. So a very active bubble, but we're down to 30, Greg.
Down to 30. If we enacted the plan, which should be enacted, I'm hoping that it gets enacted for next year. There would have been a 3-for-1 playoff to get into the Tour Championship between JT Poston, Justin Rose, and Patrick Cantlay.
How sick would that have been?
It would have been very cool. Very fun to watch.
Also, you know who would be eliminated? Justin Thomas would be out. Colin Morikawa would be out. Goddard would be out. Those, I'm trying to look at the guys who are in that would have been out in
Andrew Novak.
Yeah, Nick Taylor,
Corey Connors,
Sung J M.
Yep.
And then
I think that's it.
Yeah, and then it's, the rest of, Brian Campbell, Thomas Dietrich, Johnny Vegas, Ryan Gerard, et cetera, who started the week outside of the top 30 and would have finished outside the top 30 of the leaderboard and would have gone home.
But that being said, you still do get, it's just a lot harder and more complicated to follow. You still do get the drama. You're watching Chris Goddard finish up, seeing what he's going to do, if he's going to get in. Akshay Bhatia, same deal. When both those guys finished, I thought they were done. I did not think that they were going to advance. And, Rickie and Michael Kim kind of let them off the hook. Those guys had those spots. Rickie had it firm in hand at one point.
A couple of items here. So I think that Rickie's stuff was pretty self-inflicted. Do you like he doesn't really know where he's at, right? He might think, he can see what the projected number is on the leaderboard, but he might still think, hey, I need a birdie. I need 2 birdies coming in. I wonder if that at all changed some of the shots that he was hitting. We'll never know. He'll never tell us all that stuff, but there is still this guessing that they're doing out there.
Well, it's really hard to follow. This is impossible to follow on the golf course.
Okay, so I'm so glad you said that. So as a competitor, you don't know the score. Imagine, so Chris Goddard finishes, does not know what the outcome is going to be. He gets in his car and drives to his parents' house. Imagine if after a game, Steph Curry got into his car and drove home and did not know the outcome of the event. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, I see what you're saying from that perspective. It is. And more importantly than Goddard leaving, is a player on the bubble not knowing.
Right.
And I totally get why you don't know, because not only does it depend on where you finish, but it depends on who finishes where.
There's 30 balls in the air at one time. Who knows if someone's making a birdie while you're making a putt? No one, you have no way of knowing.
So there is a pretty simple way to look at this. Like, I would recommend, if I were talking to Rickie Fowler, I would say, look, we got to come up with a point total that you need to reach. This is how I did my projections this week and last week. Which is pretty close. It worked.
Yeah, you were like spot on. Yeah,
it really works. So you come up with, what's the projected point total? I said it's 1450. You need 1450 to get in. It ended up being 1408. So what is 1450? We need to finish in like 6th or better. And if we do that, we'll get in. It doesn't matter so much what happens everywhere else. But when you listen to the players speak, they don't really know that. Like, they hear the minimum. Like, Rickie was at one point told he had heard like 12th is enough. But that's based on nobody else moving up.
Right.
Which it's not going to happen.
When Harry Hall is also charging, that's impacting you.
Yes, it's impacting you for sure. So it becomes very difficult to track on the golf course. I think there's a way that you could do it as a coach. Say, look, you don't need to look at the projected number. You need to look at your place on the leaderboard like any other tournament. That being said, it could be that simple. Am I in 30th or better or not?
Yeah, we can just have them both aligned to be whatever the leaderboard says.
That is the way to do it.
Yeah. Am I in 30th? Okay, if I make par, I'm going to be in a 3 for 1, or I'm, you know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah.
It's a really interesting thing you bring up, Rick, because We've spent a lot of time talking about how it's confusing for the fans and not good.
Yeah.
It's far worse for it to be confusing for the players, the competitors.
The competitors also don't know and they have less information than the viewers do.
Right. I could sit in front of a computer and look and, run, like try to figure it out. I can look at past years. I guess they could beforehand, but
they're telling you on the broadcast, if he makes this birdie, he's going to move up into 30th. Well, okay. Somebody run down and tell him. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, you should know. Whereas if you're looking at a leaderboard and you're one shot behind Maverick McNeely, who's in third place, if I make this, I'll move into a tie for third.
Right.
And then when that happens down at the bottom, I'm in 31st place. Right. If I make this, I'll move into a playoff to get into the Tour Championship. That would be pretty cool. It would be very simple to know what you have to do.
Here's the grid. Some more green than we've seen in recent weeks. Rickie Fowler cashes Mark's top 20. My Rickie Fowler over Jason Day. Brian Harman gets you a check mark at plus 140 to finish inside the top 20. And then in absolute bizarro world fashion, Mark has Scottie Scheffler on his card. You do not. He gets the check. And I don't know what happened, Greg. Scottie Scheffler's been on your card every week of the year.
Well, I was going to say, this makes me sound a little better. Scottie has never won a tournament where he's not been on my card, except maybe like the 22 WM Phoenix Open.
The first one.
At least the last 2 years, he has been on my card for every win.
Yeah.
This was just a mistake.
You stepped away from process.
Yes.
Take a lesson from Scottie. You stepped away from process on this one.
I stepped away from process. It was a unexplicable, unacceptable result. And quite frankly, it ruins the whole scheme. If you challenge me, why is Scottie there every week? Well, if you're going to do that, he has to be there every week. It's the only way to make it work when you're playing with odds like his. What did Mark get him at? Plus 275? It
says 225.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it if you do it every week. You got to get hit every win.
I do think it is. So the conversation is to Scottie or not to Scottie. I think we might have talked about this before. I actually think the conversation now is, are you an always Scottie or a never Scottie? Because those are the ways I think you should do it. Just like, oh no, I bet Scottie every single week.
Yes.
Why are we trying? Well, I couldn't possibly pick and choose. It's either every week or no weeks.
Well, and this is the other thing that, like the Open Championship, he was on my card. I almost didn't have him on there. Like, he struggles on link. I have to put him on.
Yeah.
That was what was going on in my head. Because he could win every week. He is the most likely winner. Quail Hollow, a much better golf course for Rory McIlroy than Scottie Scheffler. Much better golf course for Bryson DeChambeau than Scottie Scheffler. Scottie wins by 5.
Dude, if I would have told you, this is how hard it is. This is a tease because I have a video idea for after the Tour Championship that I'm working on. But think about this. If I told you in January, Scottie Scheffler is going to win 2 majors, Rory McIlroy is going to win 1 major, tell me which ones they win, we probably still would have gotten them wrong. Because Rory won the Masters after Scottie has won it twice. We probably would have said, okay, Scottie's winning 2. Let's give him the Masters. And the one we're definitely not giving Scottie is the Open. And now they're going to Quail. So obviously Rory wins that one. No.
Yeah, you're probably going to give Scottie the US Open.
Correct.
Right. Everybody was talking about
that. And if you don't give that one to Scottie, you give it to Rory, maybe.
Yep. Rory's coming off back. But if it's 1, Rory wins 1, it's Quail.
It's Quail. So then you slot Scottie into Augusta and Oklahoma.
So you're wrong.
Easy game.
You're wrong at the PGA.
Yep.
You're wrong at the US Open.
Yep.
You're wrong at the Open.
You've got them all wrong. And you knew 3 of the winners and you got them all wrong.
That is crazy. All right. So how about this? Scottie has 5 wins this year.
Yeah.
Before the year, Scottie's going to win 2 majors, 5 total events.
Yeah.
I would not pick him to win the Byron Nelson. The only one I would get is Memorial.
Yeah. That's true. So that goes back to being like, you're just always doing it or never doing it, because he can win them all.
Yes. And he's close every time.
Yeah.
He almost does. Like he could have won the US Open very quickly.
He almost won last week, and it didn't even really get talked about because Rose went nuts. Spawn was in the playoff. Tommy collapsed. Scottie finished 1 shot out of that playoff and kind of played like crap.
Yeah.
And
he hit one of the worst tee shots I've ever seen him hit on 15.
Yeah.
And putted kind of like he did today. Missed a bunch of putts. They were a little longer last week than this week.
Yeah.
It's a great point. He could have won by 3 last week.
Next week is the Tour Championship, and they're not going to have any starting strokes situation. Everybody is going to start at even par. I think the Tour is absolutely playing with fire right now. Okay. So what do they say, Greg, as they open up every show on the Golf Channel or on CBS or whatever, NBC? This is the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Every time. They say it every time. It's part of the script. Well, the season-long race for the FedEx Cup very well could be won by somebody who's kind of had a pretty crappy year. And now they are going to forever be, engraved on that trophy.
Okay, I got a couple things here.
Okay.
One, they just need to change the verbiage very slightly.
Did they?
No, they need to.
Oh, they definitely need to.
Yes. So it's the season-long race to the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That, and your season-long champion is decided at the Wyndham.
Right.
At the end of the season.
Right.
You reward the regular season at the end of the Wyndham.
Correct.
Now you can have playoffs. Like,
right.
Nobody thinks that the New York Giants were the best football team in 2007. They beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, who were undefeated. Right. Right. Well, we know that. This is just a verbiage problem. It's not a problem if Chris Gotterup wins the Tour Championship.
Okay. It's a verbiage. Okay, I'm glad you said that, because here's what I was thinking, and I like that. You got to change. We have to separate regular season and playoffs. So obviously, ideal scenario for the PGA Tour, Scottie Scheffler wins. Backup plan is Rory McIlroy wins. Okay, that's you got the player guys who had the best 2 years or the 2 best years. They've won FedEx Cups before. That's absolutely fine. But then you start getting into the guys that here's 3 guys that I think are absolutely capable of winning the the Tour Championship, because you get 4 ceiling rounds. Ludvig Aberg, Hideki Matsuyama, Victor Hovland. Now, would it be an issue if any of those were the season-long FedEx Cup winners? I guess not. That's not an issue. We could work with that. But then you start to get to Jacob Bridgman, Harry Hall. I guess they don't have a great chance, but it would not be great if they won the FedEx Cup from the Tour's perspective.
It would not be your best case scenario. There's no question about that. But I ultimately think this decision helps Scottie. Now, because what Scottie Scheffler is going for now is things that greats have done before him. When you look at his season last year, I'm so glad he's only won a start in strokes event once, or I could look past that. But if Scottie gets to the end of his career and ends up with 82 wins and 6 of them he started with the 2-shot advantage, I know that's a stretch and it probably won't happen. But Dude, what if he gets to right around the Phil Mickelson territory or another legend of the game with career PGA Tour totals? There's like this huge, but, and I don't like that. I'd much rather him not win the FedEx Cup, that one great year, win it and have it be a real tournament that he won. I'd much rather have that.
There are this is all from the tour's perspective, obviously. There's like 2 ideal names. There are 6 we can live with that, and then there are 22 like worst case scenarios. Like if Sung Jae Im wins this, there will be memes, right? Like it will just be never ending if Sung Jae Im wins the FedEx Cup. If Tommy Fleetwood, who's never won, wins the FedEx Cup, like it's gonna be, Pontevedra is gonna be in crisis management mode.
You're right, but we just got to change the perspective on this. That's the whole thing. Like this is all you have to do is get there. Anything can happen. It's the playoffs, right? It's March Madness. It's
just get to the dance.
Get to survive and advance.
Yes.
You might not win player of the year. We have you have a player of the year award. You don't need your FedEx Cup champion to be the season long champion.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be, unless it's the same guy, right? Which, like, does the 1 seed win in March Madness sometimes? Yes. Not all the time. And there's just this perspective that the PGA Tour needs to shift from the fans, and it's much easier to shift it this way in the direction that they're going in. It's a competition. It lines up with every other sport. You don't know who's going to win come playoff time.
Right. Yeah. Here's what we'll do. Yeah. We're going to do, the season long, and then you guys are going to vote for player of the year after the Wyndham. We're not even going to see the playoff situation. And then once you get in, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Scottie would have been very close. Scottie last year would not have made the Tour Championship. I think he finished 33rd at the BMW.
And Rory would have been out because he would have got knocked out in Memphis.
Yes. Now, that's going to happen on pretty rare occasions.
Of course.
Especially if they know what they have to do.
Right.
It changes everything.
Yeah.
Like Rory can play TPC Southwind if he has to finish in the top 50.
He can beat 20 guys at TPC Southwind.
He could gut it out.
Yeah.
So but again, anything can happen. You have to be okay with that. And it will be better. It will be better. Like the event in Memphis was awesome. All the talk about it beforehand was that Rory didn't play. But when you're watching that, you're not missing Rory McIlroy. It's an optics game. And we just have to change the optics, and it'll be great. All of these tournaments are awesome. Every PGA Tour event is like, they're great week in and week out. That's why we have a hat that says, "What a week."
It's true. I think it's secondcutmerch.com, or the link's in the description. There's a hat available. I'm with you. This and the new, I don't know anything about this new CEO, but for the love of God, I think I trust him to change the messaging. Coming from the NFL, a small shift in the messaging fixes all of this.
Right. Which is like, it's not the season-long race to the FedEx Cup. It's a season-long race to the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Right. And
now we're in the playoffs. Like right now, it's the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Right.
Lose the season-long race. It's not.
And they mean a lot more now.
Yes. Yes, it's winner take all for the grandest prize on the PGA Tour. I don't know. Come up, whatever you want to call, whatever you want to say.
They do always come up with those little things.
Like in hockey, it's the most coveted prize in all of sports.
Right.
for Lord Stanley's Cup.
Yeah. What do they Lord Stanley's Cup? What do they call Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world, or something like that? Like there's always like a
right. It's like the movie Elf. World's best coffee.
Well, congrats, you did it.
I love that scene. So yeah, I wouldn't make it too extravagant here, but that's all it takes.
I'm headed to Atlanta next week. First time I'll be there, which I'm looking forward to seeing East Lake and getting everything.
Cool.
You have graciously agreed to do Tuesday's show a little bit later than normal. I believe it's probably going to be 8 Eastern for those out there listening right now. We're still confirming that, but that's the tentative time. So I'll be flying on Tuesday. I can get all situated, get everything in order, and we can still put on the show that people expect. It'll just be a couple hours later, but that's the plan, Greg. And then hopefully I can provide some eyes and ears from East Lake over the course of the week.
It's going to be really cool, Rick. I'm looking forward to seeing how East Lake, which was recently renovated or restored, I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays this year. Now with a little more mature greens, a little more mature surfaces, it's going to be cool to watch. And we don't have starting strokes to deal with, and I am just so pleased about that. Real quick before we go, I was doing my research, like winning trends and things like that. And when you get here, it's like, well, do I look at the winner of? No, I got to take starting strokes out, right? To really know who I got to take starting strokes out. So how do I say this? Is this who won the official World Golf Ranking version of the Tour Championship, or who won the strokes gained total in each of the last 5 Tour Championships? I mean, I got ties now. Looking back, they did such a good thing.
I'm with you. One small step in the absolute correct direction. Let's just finish the job.
Yes.
Our job here is finished. We will be back on Tuesday, a little bit later than normal. Keep an eye out for that room that we'll create. It'll probably be 8 Eastern on Tuesday. And then, of course, the Friday and Sunday shows for the rest of the Tour Championship. For now, big thanks to producer Mina. She does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme is available at The Real GFD. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The Second Cut. We'll catch you next time.